Joey, what's shaking?
There we go. All right.
We're waiting till about 10 people, and then we can start with the what's happening in the days of, I guess it's simple, informal tech talk of the week kind of stuff. And since we have the Popper Doctors, or what's your title these days, John?
I don't know.
Uh,
whatever Joey calls me, it's usually how it works.
yeah. King, is it the King these days? It is the
Oh
Popper
man,
Doctor.
we'll just stick with the doc, I guess. It's fine.
Hey Ray, hey guys.
What's up, Dominic? How's it going, guys?
How's the stream? Can you hear both of us okay?
Hopefully,
I don't
no
know.
news is good news.
Yeah, Joey says the doc.
There we go.
Okay. Perfect.
All right.
This is my first YouTube stream, so if it blows up, well, I'm gonna ask John for some technical support later.
We'll figure it out.
Uh, cool. All right. So we got our, I guess, our starting 10. We can just talk about what's going on. Um, Now I have no idea how many people actually have tried version 146. It's been downloaded probably. The beta files have been downloaded probably over 100 times.
Oh, nice.
What that means, I don't know exactly. I just know the number of files that have been downloaded. Um, the Yeah, Joey, we're going to talk about the baller installer after the 146 stuff. Definitely, definitely. Um, Okay, so, and I mean, guys, this is open concept. If you guys have anything you guys want to talk about, or any questions, just shoot messages in the chat. We'll just wing it for this one, and I think most of them are
Yeah.
just going to be winging it, but we'll see how it goes. Um, should we go right into the? I guess what I mean. There's all these new things. I mean, the popper batch recording, all this stuff.
Operator mode. I mean, there's
Opera.
some.
Wow, this is going to take forever. I'm just trying to think. Let's ask someone what you tell us what you want to talk about first, because I mean, there's just way too many. You want to talk about operator menu? You want to talk about uh, what do you got? Auto batch recording, alpha wheels.
Yeah, 146 had a lot in it.
Yeah, I just kept on. I'm like, okay, this will be the end of it around Christmas. I go, this will be the end of it, and then next thing you know, this will be the end of it, and then it just goes, hey, how about this? How about that? How about that?
It's all fun
It's
news.
all yes, it is.
The trigger delay, that was a fun feature.
Oh yeah, why don't you explain the trigger delay? Because you asked it for it, and I think I gave it to you in like November or
Yeah,
maybe October, November, and you're like, when's the next version coming out? When's the next version coming out?
it helped a lot just because there's some tables that you want to fire an event off the DMD, but you want to wait for a video like ball loss before game over triggers, and it just helped with some weird timing things that um, you know you just couldn't get 100% right, and this helped it a ton. Um, with the Simpsons, I was at least able to trigger like with tilt. We did a special overlay for tilt, and instead of baking the overlay in the videos, we just used another PNG. And there's no really real way to tell it that tilt is over, so you just count it. We used a minus 10 seconds, minus 15 seconds, and
Right.
tilt. So then when this is done, fire this 15 seconds later, and
Yeah, for
it
people
works
that
pretty
don't know
good.
much about pup packs, I mean, the way it works with the pup capture, when the DMD matches, boom, it gets fired the event. Um, Now sometimes what John was saying is, a tilt message would come up or a ball drain or a match that you actually go, well, wait 5 seconds after that event, or wait, 6 seconds and then fire.
Yeah,
So that was something that that he put in. I guess what's the first pack that uses it? Simpsons.
Yeah, I've used it in a couple other ones, but they're so minor that I'm probably the only one that's going to notice that it's actually supposed to fire there or not fire where it fires.
Yeah, I guess
It's one of those too.
yeah, at one point people are gonna be like, if they don't notice, it'll just happen, kind of thing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
But yeah, Simpsons is probably really the first one that I used it heavily, more than once.
Cool. All right, let's talk about fun stuff that was in 146. Something like new media list. Oh, let's talk about the new media list. The new media features. Okay. I'm going to go, all right, you guys are going to have to tell me if this works. I'm going to go to single screen mode. So that.
I had to pull up the beta page so I could remember every feature.
uh, Actually, I'm in a virtual machine here, guys. About the so it has actually the just a fresh install of Baller Installer, but it should be all set up. Media Manager. Put that over there. All right. So how's the stream so far? Are you guys seeing everything okay? Is the text somewhat clear?
It looks good to me.
Cool. All right, so let's start. So what we changed here. What did I change here? Let me look at my notes. Uh, yeah, I write it and forget it all.
Yeah.
We obviously know the interwebs, downloading and whatnot. When you click now on each of these boxes, the PUP windows, down here it tells you the media that it's using. All right. So when you see the media you're using, if it's multiple ones, you right click on it. You can preview the file. You would always be able to do that. You rename it. Really not necessary anymore. Or you can remove the file right from here. So if you have a GIF and a other labels or multiple ones, I guess it works well when you have in help and info when you have multiple pages.
Mm-hmm.
You can manage and remove and maybe rename. But what the nice thing is these days that now 1.6 has 1.4.6, you can convert. So you highlight it and you convert. And so what that does, so based on the file that's highlighted, you can we can expand this. These are actually external bat files that are located in your recordings folder. So anyone can make like what's the default here? We got standard profile, 30 FPS, resize 4K to HD. You can rotate it counterclockwise, clockwise. Volume increase, that's a nice one. Even volume mute, so that can rip the volume out. And I think someone on Discord had made one already, and he made this nice. I forget who did it, but they made this nice batch file for this conversion that did normalize. And what it did is it ran it through its thing, and you would set it up once. So you set your normalized volume with decibel level, and then so all your videos or anything you download, loading videos, starting videos, it would all be normalized, which was cool. So not that it mutes or does 50%, because really that sometimes is it's nice that it might get lower at 50%, but sometimes you want I want it to be 5 decibels,
Mm-hmm.
and so that will that'll give them the ability of normalizing all that. So I'm sure people can make other ones too. I don't know, or you might have your own that you can just pop in there and it'll show up in that list. And then you just hit convert and it'll do its thing and then come back and then the media will be done. The other thing, I don't know how many people do it, but one of the best things about send the link to anyone you want, Joy. No problem. I don't know how many people are on right now. I got too many windows open.
It says 18.
Cool. So one of the big things that I did with PinUP Popper is I like sitting at my desk while my cab's downstairs because I'm old and I don't feel like walking 5 minutes every time I want to do something. So I know you can RDP or TeamView or all that stuff. No, No, I like clean connections, shares, whatnot. So 146 has this whole messaging system actually built in. So we can do a lot more things across the network. So now, if you see, we have batch auto recording.
Welcome to PinUP Auto Record.
Ooh, welcome. So what this does is you'll see here on the bottom it says running in local mode. But if I was running via the network, I would have it would say running network mode, and therefore you could actually do your scans of VPX and only if missing and whatnot, and hit start record, and your cab downstairs it'll start doing its auto recording and doing all the things that you know. Hey, Third Axis, how are you? The Yeah, so your cab will be automatically playing and recording downstairs or wherever it is, and yeah, that's really cool. And you could stop it from here. Yeah, it's a nice way of once you add a new table to Popper across the network, of course. Then you just pop into auto record, and without even being at your cab, set off the auto record, walk downstairs, and you already have media set up for it, and it's already on. It's already there.
It's pretty
So,
sweet.
so I don't know if I'm going too slow or too fast, but John, why don't you say something?
I I think you're good. I mean, it is a killer feature. If you guys haven't used it, I mean, it is easy. You're not standing at your cab trying to work on this stuff. You can use it from your laptop if you want. I mean, it's pretty cool.
You you
It's
you
really
you set
easy.
it up via the network, or you're always beside your cab, or do you?
I I am I'm at my cab more often than not, but I did use the feature early on in beta a
Cool.
couple times. Get some new media recorded just because I wasn't at the cab. But yeah, most of the time I'm at the cab because I'm
Yeah, cool.
grabbing captures.
You'll also notice in 146, I did a couple of little things like I changed the names here. Just they were more. I forget what it was, but it wasn't the proper game display name. It was so it would make it easier to find little things like that. Um, this is game folder. So the convert feature are there. What else? Did I add anything else? No, that's all there. All right. Um, what else? What else? What else?
The loading,
Looking.
I guess that was 145. That was
Yeah. Well, there's another thing too in Media Manager. 146 had. Oh yeah, Joey brought up the fact that for PUP DMD, and also you could actually use it for Popper, is the outline font support and drop shadow support. The definitely was a cool thing. It'll
oh yeah,
yeah, it'll give it a nice. I actually tried it just on Popper. I added a global shadow on all my text, so it had all the shadows in the front end there. It was nice. As long as you have fast enough graphics cards, you should be good.
more
Uh,
power.
the other thing I wanted to talk about is um, the wheel bar. Joey will like this. Um, the wheel bar before it wasn't alpha blended, right? So we're not talking about videos here. We're talking about the actual wheel bar that's behind your icons. Now in 146, it's pure alpha blended, so you could do really nice, smooth over video wheel bars. So I'm still waiting to get some samples of that, but yeah, it should really. I know Terry did some for a desktop. He made like a glass overlay on the topper section on a desktop
That's
version.
cool.
So he had a sample of that, which was cool. Let's see my notes here. I got lots of stuff. Okay. Wheelbar videos? No, no, we're not gonna. I think there's enough videos playing at one time. That I know people are like going, we need animated wheels. This
Yeah,
whole thing's gonna be a
a
confusing.
big video.
Yeah, and they're like, what do you mean my 3090 is at 99%?
Yeah.
Hey, Major Frenchie, how are you?
At I dig stuff asked if you could convert an entire folder at once, like all back classes or all toppers.
Oh, not from there. No, no. That's
Not
simply
yeah.
for one at a time. So, but I mean, again, you could grab the batch file and massage it a bit, drop it into the folders, and you could just. I mean, we have a lot of sample like all folder type of things. All right, Dom. See ya.
Later, Don.
What else did I do for the Z order? A track jukebox, batch auto record. Oh, for let me talk about something easy. Games Manager. Um, what do we do here? Let me see. Am I covering? I want to make sure I'm not covering anyone's face here. Hey, John, let me just move this over. There. That's cool. Um, what did we update here? We updated add new games. There's only one game here, but instead of it was complicated before with just the highlighting and the control clicking, so I made it into a checkbox. You also can right click, add selected, select all, reselect all. You can ignore game always right there. So that was cool. And I don't know if people know this, but like when you go here, I mean, this is I did a training video on the installer, but yeah, when you select your emulator, like Visual Pinball X, these little buttons here, I don't know if people use them. You have Open Game Folder, and that automatically opens up where your tables are for VPX, and you have Open ROM Folder, and that automatically opens up where your ROMs go, which is nice across the network. Again, it works great across the
Mm.
network. I go into here, and the I test the games locally. They run great. Then I'll load up the network mode. Go here, hit Open Games folder, so I don't have to remember. I'll go Open ROM folder. I'll drag and drop into the locations, and then just hit Scan, and there they are. So you do it all in one screen, which is nice. So that was added in 4.6. What else? So we got the full alpha. Yeah. Something we recently added. I don't even think it's in the next beta 16 files. The beta 16 files we have now. When you have well, the default install now is actually going to make these all active playlists.
Mm.
If you don't know what active
That's right.
playlists are, they're like instead of manually adding games to them, which you still can in manual lists, they're all active lists. So as soon as you add the game and it's a visual pinball game, a visual VPX game, it'll be in the VPX list just like that. So and now I updated visually here. So when you select like MAME or future pinball, the actual list actually shows you your active sequel result. And if it's a normal let me just add a playlist and go whatever, normal or whatever, movies. So now when you go between active list, it'll show you your current active list. And you click movies, it'll go to the first one, which is playlist. And that's where you can add manually because this isn't an active list. So active lists will get updated in real time, and yeah, in the manual lists, it'll auto switch between. Settings are still the same, and they'll stay there like that. Um, Also, what else in 1.4.6? Oh, I added the ability here to. I don't know. Did I? Let me go and add some games here. Okay, so yeah, I can add to favorites and add to global favorites, and then remove from favorites. So you can add favorites and local. That's there. I think that was for the playlist updates. Checks to warn you. What else you got there, John? Let's see. Let's get some
Let's
Is there
This
anything?
one's that's cool because you kind of took out a step for people. A lot, there were a lot of people that got hung up on. Hey, I put it in my VPX folder, but why isn't it showing? So
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's why the baller installer is. I mean, it's trying to get people up and running as painlessly as it can. So
yeah,
after they add the game VPX FP, then they actually don't have to go to the playlist config. They can just run it, and that way you know. Oh, let's talk about game volume. The game volume
that's a good
is,
one.
yeah. I changed. I know a lot of people use what's it called, Pinball by MJR. It's very
Hmm.
popular, and I mean, if you're using it, great, keep using it. Um, but let's talk about how volume is done in Popper now. So global config. So here, startup volume. Now that's startup volume is an actual value. So if you want to start your cab at 45, 35, 65, so every time you turn it on, the PC will come up and it'll be like 35. All right, that's so that you have a constant um, you have a constant setting when you bring in your volume. Um, the attract mode, these are percentages. So when you go into attract mode, this is the same as it was before. This was a percent. So you can say attract mode volume be 25% of my normal volume of what is at. Now the reason why it's a percentage, I mean, I could have increased my cab volume manually to 60, right? And then it'll make that 25% of that. Okay. Um, so that is, I think it's similar to what it was before, but where we changed a lot in 4.6 is now on Game Manager. So each of the games has game volume percent, and like it says there, 1 to 150. So it actually, which is nice because it takes into account what the current volume is. You're like maybe
Right.
you're having a party and the volume is at 50, and this table is generally a lighter table. You can say I want this table always to be 125% of where my menu's at, or I want this table to be 80% of where my menu's at. You know, um, so but I mean, it doesn't affect ROM. Like I mean, normally you still gotta change your ROM volumes, right? Never want to go over 25 or 20. 27, I guess, is the max ROM volume, or else you'll get screeching.
I think clipping, yeah.
Yeah, you get clipping. So you don't want to. You want to keep that to so the ROM volume. But what this will do is it'll set your PC volume. So if your PC volume's at 50 and you say I want it to be 120%, your PC volume will go to 60, and then when the game finishes, it'll go back to 50. Okay. So that's pretty cool because you get like a percentage bump for each particular table, and that also works with FX, and any other one that might happen. What was I? Oh yeah, and the other thing which is cool, some people might not like it, so I made it an option, but on default it's on. Is so let's say your cab is normally at 30, PC volume 30. Um, you go run in the table and you're like, oh man, this is great, Guardians of the Galaxy. You pump it up to 70, and it's like pretty loud, this and that. It's great. When you hit leave table, it will go back to 30. So it'll go back to your normal level in Popper. So Popper has its own level. But if you increase while you're in Popper, if you increase it to 70, it'll stay at 70, and the percentages will, you know.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's a cool
so
feature.
that's that, and you can shut off if you want. Hey, when I'm in a game and I set it to 70, I want to go back to Popper. I want to keep it in 70. So that there's a custom option for that. So that's the volume stuff. We can go on for a long time here. Jeez.
AHK script support. That's a pretty cool.
Oh, that's for low-level techie guys. All right. So, I mean, if you guys know what AHK is, um, oh yeah. So yeah, running pinball. That's if you're running pinball. It's a good question. I dig. Um, if you're running pinball, you got to choose which one. I don't know how. I don't use pinball, so I don't know what it does or how it does. Whether it moves things at a percent or exact. Um, but that's up to maybe you don't use pinball if this does what it needs for you to do. That's your call. Um, All right,
I like
so
everything being in one spot. It's kind of nice.
yeah,
You're looking
that's
in one
why.
place.
Yeah, that's why I put it there because I think that it's
Yeah.
better to just control everything in one area. But if pinball does more, maybe it does like particular volumes, particular pack. I don't know. That's an MJR question. Um, what were we talking about? What is it? Oh, AHK. Unless you know what AHK is. Oh, well, while we're here, anyways, I'll show you the new cool little. These are 146. This is the next build in 146. But I made this little cool. You can jump around quickly between emulators. Also, I what else did I do? I made the editor here. I made it not word wrap, so which is good because sometimes you get confused about the word wrap. Made the font bigger.
Yeah, it looks cleaner
Looks
overall.
cleaner overall and whatnot. Um, but yeah, if we so now if I let me add a new one. There and go add, and I'm just gonna go I don't know test AHK test whatever test. Okay, so now when under test, so if you again if you don't know what AHK is, you are not going to need this. But like stuff like was it Pinball Wicked or we used it or even Zakaria?
Yep.
Zakaria has like a custom
Sorry, yeah.
AHK and you had to modify it, compile it. Now with Popper, it includes the little runner of AHK. So as soon as if you use AHK strip here and you do that by just starting it off with semicolon AHK, and you'll notice a difference between Windows scripting and AHK is you use the semicolon for what do you call it? Remming out and whatnot for comments. But if it starts with AHK, as long as there's a semicolon AHK on the first line, everything else here is a full AHK. So for Zakaria, you would copy and paste the Zakaria script, and you would still use, like I know in the Zakaria strip, it used to use the parameters, but you could still inside the script go, game name. Inside the AHK script, you would put, folder, ROM folder inside the AHK. So this would all be AHK code here. And same with the closed script. And then you could do lots of stuff with AHK, but I mean, that gives you an idea of the new AHK feature.
That's cool.
Yeah. The other thing too, I added the removal. I added a remove emulator. I know some people ask for that, but obviously people would screw up. So it does check to make sure if you have any games already connected to the emulator, it definitely won't let you. It'll just say sorry, you cannot remove emulator games are on it. But I'll just remove this one. Are you sure you
That's
want to
good.
remove? Now it only let me remove it because I haven't had it added any games to it. So that's that. Keep displays. Again, I see a lot of people showing videos and they don't remember that there's a little. Just so you know, keep displays on. People are saying, "Oh, put in 5.2," and it's hard to remember all of them now with full DMD. Little button there. It also does it on the game that you can actually select the screens now, so you don't have to always remember the screen numbers. I'll throw that out there. John, are you watching the text at all? Just, I mean, the chat, just in case some questions come up. Just, I don't know if they're
Yeah, there's mostly just comments.
okay.
I think Sal asked, or S. Campana asked, what's new with Media Manager?
Well, you're gonna have to watch the beginning of the video. We went through that, so I ain't going through that again. um, what other? Let me look at my notes here. What else we have? Oh, yeah. While we were on emulators, I should bring that up. We added. I added. There it is. Playlist ID. Whether that makes sense to you or not, if you're used to like doing. Where are your shades, John?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, playlist ID that allows you to, let's say you want to do something. There we go. Now we're getting serious.
That's funny.
Future so bright.
My screens are bright.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is.
Yeah.
What was I talking about? Oh yeah, playlist ID. What that means is you can actually do stuff like, hey, say you didn't, we had alt mode. This is on top of alt mode. Let's have another option. What that is if you had a playlist and you put all your pup packs in there, and then you had another playlist that you put your normal VPXs, but you have the same VPX file. So because you have the same VPX file, you can say, hey, if playlist ID equals 14, which is your pup pack playlist, then do what you do, send the custom parameter to, or shut off the pup back, turn on the back glass. So you don't have to use alt mode in that way. And technically, yeah, you could actually make a not future pinball, what do I call it? Oh, you can make a pinball FX, and then you could actually say, oh, make a player 2 sub playlist, and then launch with the command line player 2 because it's coming from a certain playlist ID.
Oh, that's cool.
So I don't know what else you'd use it on, but yeah, you could do all sorts of stuff. You could do, yeah.
iDigStuff said, would you set up VPX VR as its own emulator here if you wanted to launch it from Popper? I guess you could
Yeah,
alt exe that.
yeah. If it's just an exe, yeah, I would probably, yeah, I would make my own emulator for VPX VR. Yeah, VR is still a thing as far as it's a moving target right now with how VR. But you could use an alt exe, or you could use, I mean, you could do alt run. Yeah, exactly. There's like I said, there's a lot of ways to skin that cat. Depending on,
Yeah,
I think with my system, I put all my VR tables in its own folder, right? So that's why I make it its own emulator.
makes sense.
So I keep the tables separate than the non VR tables.
Do you want to go over alt exe with 10.7 because of Starship Troopers?
Yeah.
You want to show that off?
Yeah. Do you want to? Well, yeah.
Jump ahead too
Let me
quick.
take a break. My tongue is getting dry, and I gotta.
Yeah, that's fine.
Um,
Yeah,
you explain why we need to do that, I guess.
yeah. I mean, some people save tables in beta. I mean, I don't know. I didn't see what exact feature in 10.7 that table was using, but because they had saved it in 10.7, it won't open in 10.6. So if you wanted to play it, you need to use 10.7.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and the bad part is the 10.7 isn't ready for prime time. So I guess.
Right.
Um, so I guess I know some people say, "Oh, do a new emulator." No, don't do that. There's no point. There's no point because eventually 10.7 will be the norm. Um, I'm going to show you. I guess what I'm going to show you is how to get 10.7. I need to show. So what I did here. Let me see if they could see it. So right now up here I have a 10.7 beta. I'm just going to open the beta. And all I'm going to do is grab the visual pinball. Oh, I don't know if they can see it. You're getting cut off. Okay, there.
That's all right.
I got way too many windows open. All right, so I'm grabbing just the VPX, Visual Pinball X EXE. I'm just going to copy that, and I'm just going to put it into a temp folder, whatever for now. And paste it. So this is the 10.7, so I'm going to call it Visual Pinball X 107. Wait, 107. Again, this is a new Windows. You'd want to go View and go File Name Extensions. All right, so we have vpinballx 10.7.exe. Grab that one, and we're going to put it. This is the new structure for. We're going to put it in the baller installer. We're going to put it into the vpinball root. Just paste it. So that we have vpinball x, which is 10.6, and then we have vpinball x 107.exe. We're rocking. All right. So now the best thing is to go to emulators. We're going to go to Visual Pinball X. Now, I'm going to put this new standard launch. This will be the new installer, baller installer, and even normal popper installer launch. This one shows if you set Alt EXE, then we're actually going to launch the Alt EXE. That's why I wanted to show you. So you do need to update this to the latest version. Another thing, if you're using this it'll be in the wiki, but if you are using this latest version, you need to set, now it controls more about disable true full screen and full screen, and it has proper keep focus if you're not running full screen. So you want to set what you want here. If you use true full screen always, um, you want to set this your default mode here to enable true full screen instead of disable. What's nice about that, just so you know, is in the VPX editor, it's nice when you're working just in the VPX editor, is in the video options, you just set it to not full screen there, right? So you don't have to keep on remembering to shut it off and on in the VPX video options. Because what Popper does in this launch script, it will actually either send disable true full screen or enable full screen via the command line. And you just got to put here what you want your default. That also helps because if you're in recording mode, or if some tables you're having issues with running full screen, you can set no FSX mode in custom one. So you get the idea for that. So if you're using this, then what we want to do is when we go to Games Manager and you have your what's it called, Starship Troopers.
Yep.
So Starship, I think, where is it? Not alt run modes, alternate launcher. That's the one. And so we wanted to say, what was it? V Pinball. I think I'm covering. There we go. Sorry.
That's okay.
You gotta smack me in the head if I do that. So yeah. So you want V Pinball X107.exe. So once that's set, that's it. If you're using that launch, so now when Starship Supers run, it'll use this alternate exe for just Starship. Okay.
Does that start on the wiki yet or no?
That's not. No, I just made it on Saturday.
And do you actually put the .exe in there?
Yes, you do. On this one, you do. Yeah.
Okay.
Because technically, you could launch a batch file with it. I don't know. You could pretty much do it. I was testing it running a Windows Notepad. I was putting.
Okay.
I think I put. Yeah, I actually put C:\Windows Notepad.exe there. And that came up. Now you notice you can, if you don't, so you don't forget. So you can go to lookups. That's what you should do, anyways. Alternate launcher exe, so that you don't misspell it. X107.exe, and you could have multiple ones. Say there's another 107.1, 107.2, or so then it'll be in your drop-down list, so you don't have to remember the name all the time.
That's cool.
And it says here, if we have our own script customized, how do we get the new launch script on the wiki? Yeah, you could just grab the part where it's doing the alt. I mean, if you understand emulators on your own script, if you look at the launch script, there's just one section here where it has set VPX and it says the default, and then it says here this one line. If alt.exe is set, then reset VPX, and then the line where you actually run, you want to use the variable VPX exe. If you know what you're doing, this is pretty straightforward to grab just the part that you want, and you'll be all set up for that. All right.
That's cool. That'll help. Maybe now we can release Goonies because I saved that one version on 10.7.
Oh God, how long have we been going on for this now?
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, before I even got involved, you guys have been working on it for a year, right?
Yeah, no, it's Goonies has been a long time. It was Javier's table, I think, and he converted it from Future Pinball, and then I took it and did the DMD on it, and then it sat on the shelf.
That's funny.
Okay, for the last thing, because I'm not gonna. Last thing about there's other things in 146, but I'm just gonna talk about. I know a lot of people do it. I don't know why, but they do jukebox within the playlist system. It was done by someone, and then people liked it. They said it was easy enough to, drag and drop songs, media, MP4s, and they just want something simple. So this isn't a perfect jukebox, but what it is it's an interesting. I made it better for jukeboxes. So what did I do? I forget. Global config. Okay, there's a script of some sort. There's a custom script option, and you say something like set juke. Oh, there it is. A track jukebox equals 3. All right. So you set a track jukebox. Now the 3 is because you have to decide which PUP display is showing, which media is actually your main media. So if you're going to be showing your music videos on the back glass, then you go attract jukebox screen equals 2, because that's your back glass. But if you're playing your videos, your main videos on your playfield, you make it 3. Okay. So when you're in a track jukebox mode, right? I mean, it's a simple jukebox. So here's how it works. Normally, with a track mode, you randomly choose a playlist. So every 2 minutes or whatever it's set to, it'll just go randomly choose a playlist, then randomly choose a song within that song, randomly choose a game in that playlist, and that's how normal a track works. The way jukebox a track works. So once you're setting a jukebox, you're in jukebox mode. So what that is you would browse your playlists. You would have 80s, 90s and instead of just randomly, what it does is, so let's say you're on the first song of your playlist, which is a jukebox playlist. When it's automatically finished, it'll just go to the next game in the list, which is actually a jukebox, right? And then when that one's done, it'll automatically go to the next one until it finishes completely at the end. Then it'll go to a new playlist. So I don't know if that makes sense, but it's a nice way. People were doing jukeboxes kind of half-assed, so this way it. And then someone asked me, well, how does it do random? Well, good question. All you got to do is when you make your playlist, make it an active sequel, and then just order by random. So each time you go into the playlist, all the songs, all your media in that playlist, whether it's the 80s videos, have like 50 80s videos, and they have them all come up random. Select the first one, walk away, and it will play the next 50 80s videos for you. So it's probably going to confuse a lot of people, but it is what it is. It's better than the way it was before. It was totally random, and everyone just set it for 3 minutes, and it would just go to a new song every 3 minutes, and it would go through games and go through music and.
Yeah, it's a cool add-on feature. Like you said, it's a lot easier. Just drop.
Yeah, I mean, if you're really into jukeboxes, John, did you ever do that Jukebox Cody wiki page?
No.
No.
I have it working. Dondi did a video on it, so I kind of just.
Okay, so maybe Dondi has a video, and I think that uses Cody, and it has like beautiful stuff going on.
Yeah, using Cody and Plane 9, I think. I think you got it to work with LED Blinky too.
Oh, cool.
So your actual lights flash. There's stuff out there.
This is an easy step, and then there's the real good step if you're doing real jukebox. I think that's all I want to talk about version 1.6 for now. There's probably
that's
other
all.
stuff.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm getting a headache thinking about all this stuff that's in here.
All the stuff you did.
Go ahead, John. We need some wisdom from you. How about how to troubleshoot better? I don't know.
How to troubleshoot better? Wow. The Windows updates gets people a lot, and it is what it is. I guess the only thing that I would say to those people, always check your screens. Because you come back in and then, my playfield's off. Well, yeah, I mean, you probably got hit with a graphics update that changed some IDs around. And Windows is so stupid that it even.
Yeah, I think multi-displays in Windows, not so good. So do you put updates on your cab? Do you do Windows updates on your cab?
I do. I don't turn them off.
Oh, I used to. I gave up on that because there was one. I think it was 1909 or whatever. It was last year, and I usually always updated it, even though I just did it just to make sure that Popper was always running with the latest Windows stuff. But it totally destroyed my 7.1. Like I spent a whole like 5 hours reinstalling my 7.1 Realtek drivers, getting my whole SSF working again. And I said, screw it. I totally shut off and then I did it on everything. I did it on my MAME, Racer Cab. I shut it all off on all of them. As long as you're not doing, if it's your desktop and you're doing online banking, then whatever. But I shut it all off, So,
I'm too lazy.
All right, so baller installer. The best
All
name,
right.
the best naming install, no matter what installer comes before or after, there is nothing. There's nothing gonna come. And if you're, I don't know if you're a Ballers fan of the HBO show, Rock is awesome. Um, and this is a duck. So that's the noise. I hope
So,
if I have this thing, if it makes if it makes these squeaky noise, it's the duck. Um, the okay, so we have, or I have pretty much got it to the point where I sent it to about 20 people, and John is he's worth about 20 people, so I'm going to say it's worth about
uh,
40 people have tried it. And yeah, John put a fresh drive, 2 terabyte SSD. Jealous.
went for it.
Yes, 2 terabyte SSD in there, and he tried desktop on his back glass. He did full DMD on his top. He tried every scenario, left, right, and center, and he
Worked
threw,
great.
yeah, he threw everything at it. Works great. The number one thing I get a lot of time is, hey, I already have everything. I just need the future pinball pin event. No, no. The first phase is fresh, new people, new custom. I got a fresh Windows 10 box, please. Because the way it's all the way this, why it works so well is because the folders are fixed and the batches are CD dots and everything is all nice and tight. Right, and then when you run the installer and it does all its updates SQL statements, it updates files, registries, it does a lot. So even if you're like, that's one thing people were doing is, oh, I'm getting my real DMD tomorrow, let me install today. No, no, it's not like, oh, let me just switch from real DMD to LCD or LCD to real DMD. No, no, no. If you change your layout anyway after this installer, it's easy enough. You just delete your vpinball.com. That'll obviously delete everything in there, your tables and all that. So you just delete vp and rerun the install, rerun the wizard, because it does no revert back or changes. Um, but yeah, it's going great. It's going. I mean, I've tried it 100 times. John's tried it 100 times, and so I guess right now, I think I might start just a Facebook group called the Baller Installer Facebook group, just to keep. I don't want to flood the I don't want to flood the normal Popper group with all baller questions, and
Yeah.
because they tend to be on the newer side. So maybe I think I'm not 100% sure, but maybe if we Joey's asking, have you guys everything on DJ? I was retesting today, and John, what was that folder I did? Like D colon boy slash girl slash
Yeah.
dog. So it was in 3 folders deep, and I installed it to D boy girl dog. Installed it there, and everything ran perfect. ROMs, everything ran. So future pinball. So it does all that stuff. Updates your SQL for the folder locations, your media updates your pop media stuff. You pretty much it even tries to scan if you have ZenFX installed. It'll try and set your Steam folder for you so you can have that out of the bat. Um, and yeah, Joey, it's a good question. I get that a lot. Is what about DOF? What about DOF links? What else is there? Um, DOF and DOF links, Pinscape files, all that stuff is totally it's too hardware specific. So picture a desktop user, they don't need DOF installed. Also, DOF is a very difficult installer. Like if you look at the DOF instructions for install, it must go on C colon. And yeah, I don't want to touch DOF right now, and it's updating. I mean, it was updated in January as well. So DOF, because it's an option, we don't touch DOF. DOF links, that changes. I don't want the installer to be updated every
Yeah.
2 or 3 weeks, because every time Zen comes up with versions, DOF links needs updated, and I try to get it where it's a base where people can start playing Leprechaun King or Retro Flare within. And these people, they're calling me saying they're not calling me, sorry, but they're PMing me how they had their cabs sitting there for a month because they just can't figure anything out, and like 12 minutes later they're like playing Leprechaun King, and they're like it's floored. So we want to get to that point. Then I mean obviously they're going to install their Pinscape, their DOF if they have DOF hardware, and the MX LEDs. Got to grab a bottle of whiskey for LEDs. That's a hard one to set up. I got, you know what? I accidentally got mine working, and I haven't touched it since. Because I was going to put side LEDs and all that stuff,
Yeah,
but the LEDs is fun, not. Um, but yeah,
I
so
think they made it a little easier now. A
yeah,
little,
yeah, I saw.
but yeah,
So I'm gonna do a popper group that's just for the baller installer, and really it's just gonna be I guess a work in progress, just to see where people. I mean, as far as it working, it's not other. I mean, installs DirectX, but other than that, it's all files and some registry settings, right? So it's not like a huge. It's not so on a fresh install. Worst case, some guys chose the wrong layout at first, so you want to make sure you blow away your V pinball. You just run the reinstall again, and that goes fine. Um, so yeah, I mean, for new people, I don't know how many new people are installing in a week, or how many people have Virgin Fresh Windows 10s. But yeah, I think we'll just play it by ear to see how well the next 20 go, and then we just release it as is. I mean, I'm pretty happy for where it's at. Um,
yeah, that's killer work that you did on it. That's for
yeah,
sure.
I don't want to work on it anymore. My head, boom.
Yeah,
My head is hurting on that one. Um, but yeah, I guess that's where we're all with the baller installer. So it's ready. I mean, if you're at the point where your cab is sitting there and it's ready to install, you can p me no PM me or even John. Discord, we have a channel on on Major Frenchie's. Is it Major Frenchie's Discord server? I don't know if it's just his or a group of his.
I think he started it. Yeah,
Yeah, so Major Frenchie, I don't know if you're still there. You can post your Discord channel there on the chat, and people can go in there. There's a baller installer section there as well. Um, yeah, and I've been giving a lot of help through Discord. Um, so yeah, that's so I think I don't know. I'm not 100% on a different Facebook group, but I just don't want to flood the normal pinup group with baller installer questions. Because
yeah,
I mean, John, you've seen the legends in the at one game at what's it called arcade one
uh,
ups
yeah.
and the legends. So we're gonna get a lot more new people. Let's call them. So I think that. Oh no, I lost Johnny. Reconnecting. Well, we had him for a while. That's good. All right. So let's see if he comes back. Um, says reconnecting. Yeah. So hey, it's perfect timing. We're near the end, and we lost him. Yeah. So I guess. Yeah. So Major Frenchie, if he wants to post in the Facebook group, his. Yes, Johnny. He probably got like DOS with requests for the baller installer. Um, he could probably still chat. He's probably still here. He can in the chat. He's or maybe he lost internet or his power. He tends to lose power. All right. So, is there anything else you guys wanted to ask? I guess we went through. It's been. Where does it even say how long this has been? This has been pretty long. And yeah, so I'm thinking maybe we do this every now and then, have a little tech talk, even like Sunday afternoons, Sunday evenings, just to talk about new tables, talk about pup packs. Oh, there he is. Hey, John. He's in chat. No problem, John. We were done anyways. Yeah, so we're. I think that's it for today. And if yeah, on the Facebook group, you can always get a hold of me or John on VP Nation and what's the other one? The PinUP Popper one, PinUP System. Tech Talk Sundays. Yeah, there we go. And yeah, all right, guys, I'm gonna sign off and Happy pinballing. Cheers.